have the
I think we're
the
on
microphones are working now. Yeah, we're good.
there. We're good.
Okay, Robin, all good. Thank you.
Commissioner Alton?
Present.
Commissioner Creighton? Commissioner Acevedo?
Present.
Commissioner Reckner? Commissioner Brooks?
Present.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Present.
Chairman Morelli?
Present.
Commissioners Creighton and Reckner are absent. Are we holding any?
Yeah.
We're gonna hold it over?
You want to do it, Jim? Yeah. The case number that we're not going to vote on.
Neither one of them, right? 3294 and 3295?
Good evening, everyone. The cases 3294 and 3295, both on our open for voting calendar, are going to be held open until next month. So we'll be voting on them in June.
Case
Okay.
number 3286, application of Long Beach Holdings 2 LLC of 80 West Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 13-82A pool location, 13-82D pool location, 9-106.17 fence height limitations for a pool installation in the front yard at 80 West Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 85, Lot 1, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Okay, good evening. The applicant's here for that? Yes. Come on up, sir. Give us your name and address for the record.
John Weber, 4046 Hudson Avenue, Seaford, New York, 11783.
Can you
Okay.
check if it's on, please? There's
Yeah.
a switch up here. Is
And
it-
you're representing,
Okay. Better?
yeah,
I'm representing, my company's Green Talk Engineering, and I'm representing Green Talk Engineering, and I'm representing Jacqueline English, the owner at 80 West Walnut Street. So we're seeking a variance for an above-ground pool in the, what's considered a front yard, since it's a corner property, West Walnut and National Boulevard, as well as a 6-foot fence. Pool codes do require a 5 to 6 foot fence around the pool. Presently, there are, I would say, 7-foot arborvitaes. If there's anyone, I don't know if you guys have been to the site, but we do have photographs. You could enter here if you want to enter them for the record, showing where the pool is going to be located. The fence that's going to be alongside National Boulevard is going to be on the interior of those bushes. Okay, the other two facing north and south will be on the exterior. Okay, the fence that faces National Boulevard needs to be on the exterior of the bushes because the pool is a modular construction. It's actually coming in one piece and has the equipment inside of the pool. And you need to open up gates at the front of the pool to gain access to the equipment. That's why the fence needs to be on the exterior of the bushes facing National Boulevard. I know the variance calls for a 10-foot clearance from the property line. We're asking for a 6-foot clearance. Also, the 6-foot fence is continuous with what is there already on the site. And as I said, we need a 5-foot minimum height fence around the pool as per Long Beach code.
where are the utilities located on that property?
I'm sorry?
Where are the utilities located on that property?
We
Anywhere near
have
the pool?
clearance from PSC&G already.
What's that?
We have clearance from PSC&G already
Okay.
for the pool.
Any members of the board have any questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
Audience, public.
Okay, the public, yeah. Anybody for or against? No. All right, anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to grant.
Second motion, anybody?
Case number 3286, application of Long Beach Holdings 2 LLC of 80 West Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 13-82A pool location, 13-82D pool location, 9-106.7 fence heights limitations for a pool installation in the front yard at 80 West Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 85, Lot 1, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Acevedo has introduced a motion to grant the application. Commissioner Leonetti has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, sir.
Case number 3296, application of Janine Gata of 570 East Chester Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the City of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking for new off-street parking in the front yard at 570 East Chester Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 169, Lot 66, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening. So, Ms. Gator?
Yes.
Yeah, name and address, please, just
My
for the
name
record.
is Janine Gator. My address is 570 East Chester Street, Long Beach, New York, 11561.
And you're here for an off-street parking, a curb cut or a parking space?
A curb cut and a driveway pad, they called it.
Okay. So at the present time, you have no curb cut, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
At the present time, you have no curb cut?
I have
no
nothing.
parking
No,
spot?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, and tell me about the homes on the street.
Okay,
As far as curb cuts and as far as parking on your street.
Okay, so I live across the street from the temple, which is also a daycare.
Right.
In the mornings, you can't park. At 12 o'clock, you can't park. At 3 o'clock, you can't park. Those are all the school hours. When the temple has events, there's no, if I come home late from work, I can't find a place to park. I'm across the street from East School, so all the Neptune Street parking is usually taken. And most of the homes, there's a few that have 2 cuts, but most of them only have 1. So I did go around to my neighbors, and I asked them if they opposed me putting in a driveway cut and a parking pad. The only 2 that had any comments were the ones on either side of me. I didn't realize that the driveway cut was for 2, the apron part. So they said, and I had them sign the piece of paper, that they don't oppose the driveway cut or the apron or the driveway, the parking pad, as long as it's only for one apron cut.
Okay, so now, just a couple of questions. Now, I'm familiar with that block, and there are a couple of houses that don't have curb cuts, right, on that. So you're on the south side of the street, am I correct? Yes.
Yes.
You're across from the temple on the south side of the street.
Correct.
And there are like maybe 3 houses that are kind of similar that are towards the eastern part of the block as you're heading over towards Neptune. Am I correct?
Similar to mine?
Yeah, that don't have curb cuts.
I don't.
You
I
would say
don't-
your house is unique then, in that it
Most of the
doesn't have a
ones
curb cut, but
Most
the
of
others
the ones
do.
that are by me
Yeah.
have driveways, so
Okay.
they're able to park in their driveways.
Okay. The size of the parking pad that you would be putting in would be, basically, what are the dimensions of that parking lot?
Hang on one second.
So it's 33 deep by 19, is that correct?
Let's see. I had the contractor give me a new proposal. It
Yeah,
would be-
let me
yep,
see if I can see it from the plans.
Yep,
So-
19 by 33.
Okay. And again, for the record, the width of the curb cut you're asking for is? The width of the cut itself?
10 feet.
So basically, in the 10-foot curb cut, you would be able to maneuver the second car into that parking lot like kind of tandem?
Correct.
Okay.
They'd be like this.
So if one car was already in the spot, you could go in that same curb cut, and the 10 feet would give you access to the spot tandem to it?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that.
As long as there's nobody double parked in front of the temple, yeah, I'd be able
Okay.
to do that.
And your house is where in direction to the temple, right opposite where the school is, where the people let out for the school?
Correct.
Okay. Any members of the board have any questions?
Sounds like you're just amending 19 feet down to 10 feet, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
No, the pad, she's still
The
requesting the
pad-
pad to be 19 by 33.
The pad is 19, the driveway
curb
cut.
cut-
The apron would be
10
10.
Curb
feet,
cut will
correct.
only be 10.
Yep,
Yeah.
Apron would be down.
yep.
And is that located in a place that will give you the optimal parking on the street on both sides? I mean, trying to think of the plan here. How are you placing it?
Oh, I thought he said It's,
Oh, I see it right
if you're
here.
looking at the house, it'll be on the left-hand side, 5 feet in from the property line.
5 feet in, so that means you'll be. Okay, and how
It
wide
actually
is the
starts
property?
at the
Is it
edge of
50
the
wide
house.
property?
I'm sorry?
50 wide property?
I don't really know.
I think it's 55.
That's a little
55.
technical.
Oh, yeah, 55, it says right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. Okay, that's fine.
I think if that would be a condition about the curb cut, because it's not spelled out here in any way.
Right.
So
Yeah, so that would have to be on any approval.
I have a new one
Okay.
from the contractor. After I spoke to the neighbors and they were concerned that it was too big, I asked the contractor to do another one for me.
You want to submit that
Sure.
to the
Yeah.
secretary, please?
And I have.
All right, if there's no other questions from the
Sure, my
board,
numbers.
anybody from the audience in favor want to speak? Anybody want to,
Thank you.
okay. Anybody want to speak against? All right. Anybody want to make a motion on the case?
Just,
I would make a
with
motion
the
to
condition.
grant
Yeah.
with that condition.
Yes.
Regardless
You want to
of the
make, you want to
proposal,
make the motion
I
then?
make a
I'll
motion
second it.
that
You wanna-
be granted with the condition that the curb cut be no more than 10 feet.
Okay, I would second that conditional variance.
Okay.
And 5 feet from the property line. I mean, it gives you a full 40 feet left on this side, which is good. You follow me?
No.
Exactly what she said.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see, I know what you mean from the,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so we can
Mike,
make
the
that into a
motion-
condition.
Mike, make the motion with the conditions, just state them again. What do you want? I have the apron no more than 10 feet, and what was the other 5 feet from the property line?
And 5 feet from the property.
That the curb cut be 5 feet from the side property line.
Case number 3296, application of Janine Gata of 570 East Chester Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking for new off-street parking in the front yard at 570 East Chester Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 169, Lot 66, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant the application with conditions. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant with conditions.
Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant with conditions?
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant with conditions.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant with conditions.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant with conditions.
This application has been granted with the conditions stated on the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Case number 3297, application of Steve Silverman of 464 East Market Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking to maintain off-street parking in the front yard at 464 East Market Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 153, Lot 33, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Name and address, please, Mr. Miracle.
Name and address.
Name and address.
Nelson Vinokur, 164 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Okay, this is a variance, request for a variance to maintain off-street parking for work that was done prior to the owners purchasing this house in 1990. Basically what happened before they bought the house, apparently in the garage, the ceiling was dropped down to make more room within the house, making the garage unusable for a large car to drive into. However, right now, the way the house stands, as you can see the pictures, the driveway's on the side of the house. It's certainly in character with the neighborhood. It's a long driveway, and no car would be sticking out on the sidewalk. And since this was work that was already done prior to 1990, it doesn't seem to be any detriment to the property or detrimental to the property or to the residents nearby. There's adequate parking in that neighborhood. The variance that's being requested is not substantial, since the majority of houses in this town, as we know, no one uses their garages anyway for parking cars. It's not detrimental at all to the environment, and failure to get the variance would cause a hardship to my clients in that they have entered into a contract of sale to sell the house. The purchasers are here with Dennis Kelly, their attorney. And we're looking to close this in mid-June. And what happened was when the clients bought the house, when the Silvermans bought the house, they actually did file, being told to file an application for the elimination of the off-street parking. That was filed in 1991, and no one ever heard from the city again, and the city never denied or granted it, just kind of sat there in city halls. And now that we've entered into the contract, we discovered that we still have that
So
outstanding
it was
off-street parking.
discovered by what, the title company, or
Excuse me?
when was this discovered then on the
This
sale?
was discovered by the purchasers as soon as they entered into the contract. I think Mr. Kelly came to City Hall himself. This was prior to the title company.
Right. Okay. Now, the sale is contingent, obviously, on getting this remedied.
That's correct.
And you are the purchasers or the sellers?
They're the sellers.
Okay. What are your names for the record, please, if you want to just give us their names?
Stephen Silverman and Madeline Silverman.
Okay, thank you. The off-street parking lot that is there now, in this photograph, am I correct?
Yes.
So what is the garage itself now being used for, basically just storage?
Yeah, it's used for storage. Mr. Silverman had previously kept his motorcycle in there. You can put small vehicles in there, just not a tall van. Maybe a Mini Cooper.
So basically, because what I'm understanding is here now, basically you're using the driveway, let's call it, for parking.
Correct.
Okay, but that is a legal spot in terms of its size, am I correct? So I'm not really understanding why that needs a variance in the first place.
Technically, they don't have an off-street parking because it doesn't qualify to have it in front of the house. So technically, they don't have off-street parking.
That's my understanding.
They used to have off-street
Yeah, I
parking.
mean,
by
I
garage.
understand that, but I'm just wondering when I mean, you drive down any block, everybody's car is in front of their garage.
Realistically, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, if the curb cut's been there since '91 or whatever, and then probably 9 out of 10 people park their car in front of their garage, I mean,
I was wondering
I don't
why it
really
got-
see why
it
they're
got
even
picked
here.
up in the first place, but if you
yeah, I mean,
change
I guess I know
ownership,
because
that's how
the
it-
garage
title
was
company
modified
picked up.
maybe without any kind of, anything on the CO of the house, maybe the scope of the garage was changed. I would say that that would be more the reason why, the variance is needed. Not so much, like, in other words, if they had kept the garage at the proper height, let's just say, and somebody wanted to park their car in front of their garage, besides parking the car in the garage, I don't even see why they would need a variance. I mean, 9 out of 10 people do
That's
that
why
anyway.
we usually approve things
I
like
mean,
this.
it looks like it's so
actually-
far in to the property that it wouldn't be an issue of the, 9 by 20 rule, All right, does anybody in the audience have anything they want to say either for or against? Mr. Kelly? You want to come up? I'm assuming you're in favor?
I showed up, I have my clients here just
Yeah, I
in
know.
case. They're
Make your clients
Dennis
feel
Dennis
good,
Kelly,
right? I tried.
120 West Park Avenue. I told my clients, we don't need to speak if it's heading in the right direction, but I'm here.
You just couldn't resist to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it's part of my nature now.
Hope they're not paying you for this, though.
No, they're not, actually. I wouldn't charge them for this.
Okay.
Yes, my clients live in 92 Connecticut. We went into contract to sell the house back in December with the provision that it'd be closed the latest by the end of June.
Okay,
So my clients had time to find another house.
I get it.
It was a bit of a panic. They found the house of their dreams, and we just want to clear
No,
this
no,
up.
that's fine. I mean, and that's why I asked the question about if the only issue really that had come up was necessarily the height change of the garage internally from the title company, or was it the parking itself that
Right,
came up?
and I think Inspector Shu cited it because technically it's a front yard.
Okay,
I think that's the reason why. And
Okay.
it's a front yard because it's the garage is attached to the house,
Okay.
and it's part of the house.
I
I think that's it.
all right.
Thank you.
So no one else wanted to speak in favor, right? Or against? I'm going to move to grant.
Case number 3297, application of Steve Silverman of 464 East Market Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the City of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking, to maintain off-street parking in the front yard at 464 East Market Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 153, Lot 33, on the Nassau County Land Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced a motion to grant the application. Commissioner Acevedo has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton? Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Case number 3298, application of Maxwell and Michelle Medwed of 651 Magnolia Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the City of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.1C front yard, 9-105.1E side yard, for new rear yard deck, front yard porch at 203 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 53, Lot 76, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, folks. Name and address, please, for the record.
I'm Joe LaRocque. I'm the architect for Max and Michelle. The address on file here is 203 West Pine Street. The front of the house is actually on Magnolia.
Okay.
And it's
Which address do they usually get their mail from? Because I know a lot of corner houses.
651 Magnolia.
Okay. All right, just to clarify that we're talking about the same location. All right, so tell us about basically the deck that you're going to be putting on the rear yard. So we're calling it a rear yard deck and a front yard porch, right?
Correct.
So is the porch going to be a covered or enclosed area?
It's not enclosed, it is covered.
Okay. So the porch basically is going to come off of the front of the house. Any stairs going to this porch?
Yes, that's where the front entry off of Magnolia is currently. So we're going to bring the porch
Okay.
forward
What
to
are the
house.
dimensions of it?
It comes off 8 feet off of
Okay.
the face of the house.
Okay, and does it extend past the footprint of the house itself?
It's forward of the house.
Yeah, no, I
Yes.
understand, but in width I'm talking about.
3 feet, because it wraps around to their side entrance.
Okay, now where it wraps around, just for the record, is there a staircase right there, or
No,
any
there's
change
no-
in where the staircase is located
no other
now?
staircase.
To the front door?
There's only the one staircase that goes to the front door.
Okay. Now, the rear deck,
Yes.
what's the dimension of that?
That comes 10 feet off of the house,
And what's the room that it comes off of?
the master bedroom.
Okay.
There's no access from the ground, it's just off of the master.
And there is access to the ground, you said?
There's no access to
No
the
access
ground.
to the ground, okay,
Just
good.
off of the master bedroom.
The other thing is, so basically, what would be the rear yard setback then with that rear yard deck?
858.
Okay. All right. Just standard PVC type material in the back and in the front, any kind of masonry work or anything like that, or?
No, they're just gonna, I think, match the siding, we're gonna go with the Trex decking. There's a house 2 houses away that is more forward of what we're doing with the porch.
Okay.
And the rear deck, a lot of the opportunity there is Max and Michelle, met in Long Beach, fell in love with Long Beach, bought the house, it's gonna be their forever house. And they have 2 small children now, and there's a lot of sun in the back, so the deck kind of gives them
I
some
understand.
outdoor space and also gives them some shade.
Almost sounds like a movie,
Well, I mean, it is nice. I've known them for a long time, so.
of happiness.
And
That's
I'm
cool.
also not being
Well,
paid to
congratulations.
paid to be here also, like the other gentleman. We're just here to help them out.
Okay.
But,
Any members of the board have any questions?
So there's no side yard variance required here?
There's,
Is this the house that's getting the extension work done on that near the recreation right now?
yes.
Okay, I've seen it, yeah.
Any other questions, Commissioner Leonetti, or no?
No, I just said that there's no side yard variance.
It's front
It's a
and side.
backyard variance.
It's front and rear.
But it's a,
It's a corner house.
right.
Oh, it's a corner.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I was
why. So
confused. Okay.
corner houses are always tricky. This is their only area that you would consider a backyard, and
Yep.
Anybody else? Anyone in the audience? For? Anyone against? Anyone will make a motion?
I'll motion to grant
I'll
this.
second.
thank you
Case
very much.
number 3298, application of Maxwell and Michelle Medwed of 651 Magnolia Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the City of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.1C front yard, 9-105.E rear yard, side yard, for a new rear yard deck, front yard porch at 203 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 53, Lot 76, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Alton has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted. Morelli?
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I think. Case number 3299, application of Joel and Renee Ortzman of 84 Kentucky Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.5C front yard, 9-105.5D side yard, for a new front yard deck at 84 Kentucky Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 58, Block 95, Lot 12, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Name and
all.
address for the record.
Joel Ortzman, 84 Kentucky Street, Long Beach, New York.
Okay, so basically, we're talking about a new front deck?
Yes, sir.
And that's the only item on the variance, am I correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Side
Yeah,
yard.
really the goal is just to create kind of a safe outdoor space for the kids. It adds a exit off to the side of the property, so they don't only have the option to go out to the street and the sidewalk.
Okay.
So that's what the staircase would be.
So for the record, single 30 by 60 lot, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then the next question is, so the front dimension of the deck, how far off the house does it come?
I believe 9 feet.
Okay. And now, because you need a side variance, tell me about the side. Are you talking about a side just because of stairs, or a side because the deck extends also around the house?
So the deck will extend past the width of the home.
Right.
I believe by 3 feet.
Right.
And then the staircase
Staircase.
would go down the back to the side yard where right now it's all
Okay,
grass.
so basically, we're talking about a deck that on one side of the house doesn't extend the footprint of the house. It goes out 9 feet from the front of the house. It goes to the perimeter of the house, and then goes over 3 feet because of a staircase that comes down. So now, the deck at the 9 feet, and I see the staircase doesn't really look imposing. I mean, it looks like a minimum staircase to go down. So basically now, what is the actual setback from the front of the house, from that deck?
From the setback from.
In other words,
I'm
where
not
your
following.
deck ends,
Mhm.
then how many feet is that from the deck to the property line?
I believe that's 1 foot to the sidewalk.
Okay. And then the footings, it looks like, are 2 feet in from that, am I correct?
I believe so, yes.
So it's a standard deck that we approve all the time. Yeah, I can see that from the prints, too. Okay, any members of the board, any questions?
You have two stairways, two ways to access this deck, right?
That's correct, yes. There'll be one from the front, from the sidewalk, and then from the side yard on the left.
Right. And so, and then the second access pushes the deck itself to the property line.
1 foot from the property line, I believe, yes.
Any other questions, board members?
Yeah, what's the deal with the neighbor? Is your neighbor also 1 foot from the property line, or?
They have an alcove as well, about, it really goes right up to the property line. You might be able to see that on the second photo. But that doesn't impede in any way. I do have a fence between the properties, but I do believe they have a side staircase, and I guess it's not insulated or anything, but they have kind of an inbuilt side space.
Back from yours?
It's not impeding on my property. It's just about right to the property line, though.
I mean, between the two staircases, can you get through?
Oh, yeah, well, there's a fence. There will be a fence next, on my property. There is currently a fence. Yeah. Mhm.
You know, generally, we try to discourage, running the decks to the property line unless there's a real reason to.
Okay, well, in this case, it would really be, I mean, my goal, I have 2 8-year-old boys. I'd like to give them a way to exit the house safely without having to go straight into the sidewalk, into the street. That's,
Going into a narrow side yard, there's not really anything there to go to, right?
there is, I mean, there's play space. They can play on that space, as narrow as it is, yes. believe me.
What's the backyard like?
So the side is all grass, and then the back is concrete with planters in the back.
Right, but what's the size of the backyard?
From the fence, I would say maybe, I honestly don't know off the top of my head, maybe 10 feet, 12 feet?
So you got a little fence.
Yeah, short fence.
Any other questions, or did that answer your question? Anyone from the audience? For? Anyone against? Anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to grant.
Anybody want a second? I'll second it.
Case number 3299, application of Joel and Renee Ortzman of 84 Kentucky Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.5C front yard, 9-105.5D side yard, for a new front yard deck at 84 Kentucky Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 58, Block 95, Lot 12, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Acevedo has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton? Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Deny.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Case number 3300, application of Ed Shepa of 4 Pennsylvania Court, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.19F side yard, 9-105.19G rear yard, for new side yard stairs and rear yard deck at 4 Pennsylvania Court, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 271, Lot 213, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Mr. Bella.
Good evening. For the record, my name is George Bella from GWB Architect, 120 West Park Avenue, Suite 304, Long Beach, New York, 11561. I'm here tonight as the architect for Ed and Beth Shepa, the owners of 4 Pennsylvania Court, which were seeking variances for rear yard setback and side yard setback. This is part of, a rear yard deck extension, as well as to install a side yard staircase that goes from the extended deck to an existing rooftop deck. Rear yard setback that's being requested is to be able to extend the existing rear yard deck at the kitchen level. We're asking for an 8-foot, 10-inch rear yard setback in a zone that requires 15 foot. The Sheppers had asked for and received the variance, I think, in 2012. Unfortunately, at that time, the deck that was granted was just not big enough to accommodate table and chairs and enough for them and their family to be able to eat out and enjoy the ocean, like I think all of us would like to do.
Mr. Bell?
I'm sorry?
One from 12. What was the size of that deck? Do you remember? Because it
I
seemed
don't
like the
remember,
deck
but I
started
could-
getting, was that pre-Sandy in 12 or after?
Yeah, the house was built in 2010. And I think shortly after they moved in, they realized that the deck that was built with the house was too small. And so
Okay.
they had gotten a variance.
So they presented to enlarge the deck in 12, I would imagine, before Sandy, because there wasn't much going on right after Sandy.
Yeah, forgive me, I don't know the exact dates.
In
whether
that
it
month
was
or two.
pre-
Mr. Shepherd, you want to just give me your name and address for the record, and then you can explain it to me?
My name's Edward Shepa, 4 Pennsylvania Court. I'm the owner of the
Okay.
property.
So the house, you wanted to extend the deck in 12 because it was already too small, even though the house was too... Do you remember what the deck was, the size of that deck?
I could tell you, it's,
Like 4 feet, maybe?
it's it was about 7 foot, 3 inches deep, minus the width of the staircase. So yeah, it was,
okay.
about 4 foot. That's when the house was built. And then the variance that they had gotten, I believe, extended it out another 3 feet.
Okay. Okay, so now, just chronicle the change that would be existing between that deck extension and this deck extension.
Okay, so basically what we're asking is to extend that existing deck. It would allow us to be approximately, for our deck to be about 15 foot 3 wide, and now it would be about 13 foot deep. So
Okay.
that extends it, about another 3 foot from what that variance was granted for. So it's going from about 10 foot deep to about 13 foot deep.
Now, the, let's say the side yard, how is that being changed from what was already granted in the past, or is that pre-existing now?
Okay, so right now, that deck that was in the back was kind of chopped up because there was an L-shaped set of stairs that was essentially cutting into that existing deck. So it cut out a good portion of it. So what we're proposing to do is to take the staircase and sit it proud of the house so that it sits entirely to the west of the house. So that's why we're asking for relief to go into the side yard setback.
The deck itself is not projecting beyond the line of the house, but just the steps
That's correct.
for the lower deck.
For the lower deck and the deck that goes up to the existing rooftop deck.
That's the next thing to look at, is the stair that continues on up above.
Right,
So,
okay.
so currently there are stairs along the side of
No.
the house. Well, according to that L shape.
There's one to the first level, is that right?
There's a
Yes,
side
but
there.
that does not go into the side yard setback at all. If it sits, the staircase and the deck sit entirely within the boundaries of the house. So, oh gosh, I guess we should have had a better picture of this. I don't know if you could really see the angle of it, but the west side of that staircase sits flush with the west side of the house.
Including the extension staircase?
That L shape.
I'm not sure I understand.
The additional staircase, you're adding staircase to the top deck, right?
We're adding staircases to the top deck, yes. So all of our,
Is
The-
there already access to the top deck? There is, right?
there's not.
Right?
Through the house.
Through the house, so
Yep.
so what do we need the additional outside staircase for?
So I feel like it adds some functionality, and it adds another level of safety from up on that deck. That side yard that we're asking to go into, we are sitting at about 1.5 feet away from the property line in order to be able to give us a 3.5 foot wide staircase. Again, if you were up on that rooftop deck and God forbid there was ever a fire in the house that prevented you from being able to go down, we feel like even though the code doesn't require it, this does give us an extra level of safety. And of course, there is functionality in being able to get to the deck from the first floor kitchen deck, the grade, to go up onto that roof.
Right, my question is, I'm looking at this picture here.
Mm-hmm.
So on this side where I believe is the L-shaped stairs
Uh-huh.
that you mentioned, this part of, these stairs going up, is that basically pre-existing to your plan but stops at the first floor? Is that where your proposed stairs are going to be as well, for continuing all the way up?
If I'm understanding your question correctly, no. That those existing stairs right now sit even with the west side of the house. Our proposed staircase
Oh, got it,
sits entirely to the west of the west side of the house. So the new staircase that goes from grade to the first floor deck sits within the side yard setback, as well as the staircase that goes from the first floor deck up to the rooftop deck sits in the side yard setback.
This is 1.5 foot.
What else is up on the level of the roof deck inside the house?
The rooftop deck is really only the west side of that rooftop. So if you look at this picture, you could kind of see the railing.
All right, so-
That's all the
so
way
the-
up top.
So there's a bulkhead up there to get to it. And-
There's a bulkhead, yes.
All right, so there's a stair that goes down from the bulkhead right down to the ground floor?
That's correct.
Okay. So-
Not to the ground floor, but it goes to the first floor, and then from there you would exit out to the steps that lead you up to the front door. Do you want to speak here?
You know, where the mechanicals are up there, I actually bought a ladder that you could hook on to climb down. God forbid there's a fire and you couldn't get down the stairs. So that, you know, there would be another form of egress from the roof, or where the master bedroom is on the second floor. You know, if there's a fire below us, we could go out the roof and go down the side.
Okay.
With a, you know, a rope ladder. So this would solve that.
Mr. Bella pointed out they're not required by code. I mean, you know, the internal stair would suffice for the code. And you do have access to it from the ground, you know, from inside the house. So it's kind of an extra option to just put this on the side. You're already, to get to the first ground floor deck, I can see that what you have is not that functional, and I could see, I don't mind a stair in the side yard just to get up to that. But personally, to me, it sounds a little excessive to run it all the way up. That's just my own opinion.
No, I respect that, and I agree. I wouldn't be able to say that it's required by code. Sometimes the code is interested in getting you out of the house, but it doesn't always consider that, you know, outside of the house could be on a rooftop deck, and you still need to get downstairs. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I don't think we could argue that it would be safer, code required or not. I think this would be safer. But you're right, I wouldn't be able to say that this is code compliant. If it was, it would have been built with the house when it was built new.
So once you put the stairs on the west side of the house, it's going to be right to the fence, that's existing fence that's there?
No, it's not. It's, our structure is, we're proposing that it's 1.5 feet off. Quite honestly, we made the staircase 3 foot 6 inches. I could confer with Mr. Shepa. I think that if it made you feel better by making that staircase 3 foot and leaving the setback 2 foot rather than 1.6 feet, if that made anyone feel better, I mean, I think we would be receptive to that.
What's the occupancy of the top deck?
I'm not sure. Do you mean the occupancy load, or is it just like?
What's the size of it?
Okay, so I think it's about 15 by 40, I think it was.
Pardon?
I think it was about, I thought it was 15. I thought it was 15 by,
It's pretty big.
so it's 15 by 23, and then there's a little bump out that goes another 3 foot, so, well, that's about 23, 24, 27. And then there's a little bit of an area back behind it. So I'm going to say it's about 15 by 40.
Yeah, I think the staircase going to a roof that high is actually inviting a much larger crowd up there because they don't have to go through your house, and that in itself is a safety issue. So I think you could throw a huge party up there, they wouldn't even have to be in your house, they would just come off the street.
Yeah, it's no security at all, really. People could just walk up the staircase and
Ed hires a bouncer on the weekends.
Sorry?
He hires a bouncer on the weekend. It's like a $10 cover.
Any other questions? I'm gonna,
House next year and it could become brand.
yeah, I wanna hear from the audience. Is there anybody in the audience that's for or against? Against? For? All right, come on up. Mr. Solomon, just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Commissioner Morelli, Robert Solomon, 24 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York. Ladies and gentlemen of the zoning board, nice to see everybody again. I'm here today to speak in opposition. Well, there's good news and bad news, I guess. We have no opposition to the expansion of the deck. We do have quite a bit of opposition to the erection of these stairways on that side yard. I represent the new owner of the property that was directly to the west, which is located at 6 Pennsylvania Court. And the gentleman, the wife is indeed, but the husband is here today. And we just spoke today, and we considered this issue today. I wrote a letter. I hope it was read it's in the record, and everybody has a copy of it. Our concern is life safety, health issues, fire. Not only for my client's house, but Mr. Shepard's house. Our house is, and my client's house is a wood structure, 3 stories high with no fire suppression. You know, we're talking about a house on the beach with beach winds, and, you know, it would go up like a torch. If the fire starts in Mr. Shepard's house, my client's house goes up like a torch. His house goes on fire, his house goes up like a torch. It's just not a good idea.
But they knew all this before they bought the houses. Though.
Yeah, no, but the staircase
they didn't
wasn't
buy- yeah,
there.
they didn't
The
buy a
staircase,
house
right,
in
right.
the
But
Lido
this
Dunes.
staircase would be a conductor of, you know, highly flammable and situation. You know, and also, I didn't mention in my letter, you know, it's a little misleading in that the variance requested from 5 feet on that side yard to 1.6 is even more egregious, because I took a picture today, and I didn't make enough copies, but, you know, and I'd like to, if you want to take a look at it, I got another one. I just wanted you guys to see the side yard, how narrow we're talking, just so you have can see it. I took a picture of it. So my client's house is this house, and the subject house is this house. So the side yard there, from house to house, is 8 feet from the property, from the main structure, okay? But then my client's house has a jutting out over here. It's about 3 feet. So 8 becomes 5. And then if you look at the roof line, this is a beautiful house. It was, you know, constructed custom. It has a roof line that comes out, like in North Carolina, it comes out another 2 feet. So from the top of that roof line to this subject property is maybe 3 feet. So if now you're talking about, you know, reducing that side yard, I mean, just from the roof line, and our roof is made of all cedar, real wood cedar roof. It's not fire retardant, you know, aluminum. It's, you know, all wood. So it's really a danger. We don't have a problem to the expansion of the deck. They just bought the house. They want to be good neighbors. They didn't want to have this issue, obviously. It's just the stairs present a major problem. So
Okay.
we're in opposition.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel about the first flight of stairs that get up to that first deck?
Well, it's completely within the property line of the subject property. It's not, it doesn't abut the western line at all. It's not on the side. Here, I'll show you in the picture. The picture I took shows that. You could sort of, I put a circle around it.
Right.
You could sort of see it.
Yes,
Mr. Lena, you could see where I put the circle. The stairs are in the backyard right now. They're not on the side of the house, on the westerly side of the house. They're in the backyard. So the way it was constructed was to code. The only variance they're seeking now is the rear yard setback, which we don't have a problem with. It's just the side yard. So the stairs are the problem.
Okay, understood.
Thank you.
Mr. Bella, yeah.
I guess I'll address this to you, but I wasn't clear. I think what Mr. Leonetti had asked, is the staircase that leads from the first level deck down to grade, that also is in the side yard, but it sounds like that's not an issue for you. It's just from the first floor up to the deck. Am I understanding that correctly?
I didn't think it was in the side yard. It was predominantly in the backyard.
It is in the backyard, but it still extends further from the side yard setback.
It's over here, right?
That's the existing deck. So let me.
It's existing stairs.
Okay, so this is our proposed set of stairs. So my question is, if this staircase, in fact, it might be easier. Yeah, sure.
Could my client put his
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jeff Sager at 6 Pennsylvania Court. My wife, Anne Marie Gomez Sager, is the owner of the home. So one of the problems we have is that we really haven't had a sufficient opportunity to study this, because I only found out about it a day ago. And so I understand the question. I'd like to just look at that in the context of my survey. So I don't know if I do that now or... Well, the question that he's asking is this, okay, and that encroaches
Yeah.
3.5 feet as well, correct?
It does, yeah.
Right, so we would take, so is that what you were asking?
That was my question. How do you feel about it if the stair's just there?
So, I mean, it's from a fire safety perspective, again, Jeff Sager, 6 Pennsylvania Court, the less critical mass in proximity to me, the better. And it's lower as well. And I think it may be beyond the envelope of our house. So, but I need to look at that on a survey. I'm not-
We don't have to vote on it tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not,
If you wanna
definitely not
take some
voting on this
time,
tonight.
we could leave the
I
record
think
open.
this will give you
comment
a
if you
period of time to maybe get together, review it, discuss it amongst yourselves. If there's any changes that want to be made, you know, we'll read it into the record, send it to us before we vote next month. Because at this point, there's no point in us belaboring this up here. You guys can get together and discuss it. Send us any kind of letter that you want to send us, George, you know, Rob, you know.
I'll send you a letter.
Yeah, and at this point, then we'll decide next month, because I think this is something that, for us to be back and forth, asking all kinds of questions, it's not really our point or purpose to be hammering out, you know, a compromise right here. You guys look it over, talk about it, have the time to really read it properly, review it properly, discuss with counsel. You know, Mr. Shepa, you discuss with your architect what you think you might want to work out with them. You know, present us something before the month, and we'll vote on that. All right?
Can I just make one more comment? So thank you.
Okay,
That's what
go
we
ahead.
were going to suggest as well, is that we have the month to maybe go over and sit down and talk about this thing. Last thing we want is for you to have to make a decision the day after you learned about something. But also, I wanted to put on the record with regard to the fire concern, this staircase 100% could be built out of non-combustible materials. I don't know if that makes a difference in your thinking towards the setback, but from a fire safety point of view, and whether it would be, you know, a fire hazard or anything like that, this can be built with non-combustible materials where that's a 100% non-issue. All right.
And if I may respond to that as well. So this is beyond the scope of my expertise as a layman. And just because it's non-combustible material does not mean that it is not going to transmit when a fire gets going. I just don't know that. I suspect non-combustible material makes an incremental difference, but I don't think it makes a big difference.
Okay.
But I'm not a professional.
No, I understand.
And again, why I'd like to have some time.
Absolutely, and that's why,
Communicate and send your
yeah,
letters in.
that's all.
And we'll
All right, the case will remain open to voting. I think that's the fairest way to go on this. Good night, folks.
Sounds good to me. Case number 3301, application of Andrew and Amy Wolf of 241 East Broadway, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.11C lot area, 9-105.11D building area, 9-105.11F side yards, 9-105.11K off-street parking, to expand the existing apartments at 241 East Broadway, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 129, Lot 58,
Hey, folks, can
on the
you just keep
Nassau
it a
County
little
Land Use
quiet?
Tax Map.
Go ahead, sir, name and address.
Hi, my name is Andrew Wolf from 241 East Broadway.
Okay, so, Mr. Wolf, tell us about the apartments and the expansion.
Okay, so the home is a lifted three-family home. It's got a garage on ground level and 3 floors above that. My family lives in 1 unit, and we rent the other 2. This proposed design consists of expanding all 3 living floors, approximately 16 feet into the rear yard. This will add 2 bedrooms and a full bathroom to each floor. The ground level will remain unchanged, except for the addition of pillars to support the expansion above. This will retain the same usable area in the backyard, and will also create a shaded outdoor area. Now, the reason why we are doing this is we have 3 kids now, and we need more bedrooms. Our unit is currently a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bed
1.5 bath unit. Right now, our 2 boys share a room, and our baby is in our bedroom. But the baby will not be a baby for long, and clearly we need more space. And so long as we want to expand our unit, we might as well expand all of the units because it's similar amount of work and similar scope of a project to expand into the back. Now, with regard to the noted nonconformances, all of them are existing except for the building area percentage. So the lot size nonconformance is a pre-existing nonconformance. The side yards is also a pre-existing nonconformance, and it's not really 3 feet as it states. It's really a 7-foot side yard, but the stairway protrudes into it slightly. The off-street parking is also a pre-existing nonconformance. So the only new nonconformance that we are proposing is the building area percentage. So the maximum allowed is 35%, and what we are proposing is 37%. So it's just a very minor exceedance of the maximum building area percentage.
What would it take to bring it in?
I don't know. I have to imagine that that are. Yeah, I would think so, but our architect must have had good reason to, to leave it like this and have us go through this, zoning appeals process. Yeah, but maybe
I think you're getting a lot more occupancy to an already large house.
Yeah, for sure.
Besides all the other houses on the same block.
Sure. It is a block though with, all multifamilies. We have apartment buildings.
Biggest one in the block.
Well, the biggest of a home style one. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
The extension is going out 16 feet, you said?
correct. Yeah.
Lumber.
And it's still within,
16 length, for length.
What's the parking situation now?
there are 4 cars wide. There's also parking within the, available within the garage, but I know that does not count because you would have to move a car in the driveway to get into the garage, but it is possible to park there.
On the 2 rental units, how many bedrooms are there now, and how many bedrooms will there be when you get done?
So one of them is a twin to our unit, which is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, and the upper one is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
And what would they be?
They would all become no, I'm sorry, that's not correct. 2 of them would become 4-bedroom, 2.5 baths, and then the smallest one will become 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
All right, so we're adding 4 bedrooms?
It's 5 bedrooms, we're adding 5.
Adding 5
Yeah,
bedrooms.
adding 5, yeah.
Which just exacerbates the parking situation.
My question, Mr. Wolf, is with this expansion, I'm just not 100% clear, and that's what I wanted on the record. Are you actually expanding the number of people that would be occupying this dwelling?
It is possible. It
Okay,
is
explain to
possible.
me how that's possible.
So within my unit,
And your unit is 1 level, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, each unit is 1
So
level.
there's going to be 5 more bedrooms.
Yeah.
2 in his, 2 more in the second floor, and 1 more on the 3rd floor.
Right, but what I'm saying is that expands the number of people that would be sleeping in each bedroom, but, a bigger family,
In
I'm
each
going to
unit,
assume.
yeah.
But not the number of rental units, though.
No.
That would remain the same.
Correct,
There's
correct.
That's what I just want on the
3 units
record.
now, it'll be 3 units when they're done there. He's expanding them all into the
Right.
backyard.
So, I mean, there might be more people in the building in terms of a larger family, which might demand more in terms of parking, if the kids are older or whatever. But the thing is, I just want to make sure that it is not convertible or made into another rental unit, adding a 4th
no,
rental
no.
unit to the building.
And in terms of more people living there, sure, it absolutely is possible. But realistically, it's probably going to be families. That's who's going to be renting a 3 or 4 unit home. It's going to be a family. So you're going to have 2 adults likely and then some kids. So, and that's, you know, similar to what's going on already right now. So it's conceivably, yes, there could be more people living there, and conceivably there could be more cars.
But not another unit of
Yes,
people
not another
living
unit.
there. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
make clear. All right.
And you have 4 spots now, you said?
Correct.
4 legal, did you say? There's
Correct.
also- What is it actually?
It's 4 legal spots, but if you wanted to park in the garage as well, that would be 2 additional.
Does anybody park in there now?
No, it's primarily used as a play space for the kids. Yeah, and storage.
So 4 is what you got, 4 is what you got.
Yeah, but we could have more in there, although being that you would have to drive through the driveway to get to the garage, they don't count anyhow.
And this is East Broadway, right?
Yeah, so it's already it's a busy road already. It's, you know, it's not as if,
Possible to park.
yeah, I don't know if it's that bad, but I suppose in the summer it's bad, yeah, but,
This is near the Long Beach Hotel?
no, we're a block from the super block, you know, from the new construction. So we're between Long Beach Road and Monroe. So it's already, you know, so directly surrounding us are other 3-family houses, and then within 2 homes, then there's townhouses on both directions, and then apartment buildings. So it's a block that has apartment buildings. It's not as if this is a block with single-family homes, and, you know, we're proposing this monster. And remember also that this change will make no differences onto the street. No one will be able to see any of this. This is all.
I just don't understand, this is just an area thing. I just don't know why your architect didn't propose something. Just
There must-
Away from needing a variance, maybe it would mean adding a bedroom to each floor, which would still give you the room you need.
Yeah,
And it would still give you an extra capacity in the apartments, but now you're at 5 bedrooms, and you could probably pull this off without even coming to us. If you just
Yeah,
But you weren't-
you'd think, but there.
that option's not being-
Yeah, I
Well, I don't think the
can't explain.
percentage of coverage would be the only variance you would still need. I think it would still require variances.
Yeah.
Even with the others being existing.
You mentioned it was only the area variance, that's why.
I mean, you could check that. I mean, if you could do it by right, I mean, you know, the expansion itself, I think is
There's
not
an
bad.
off-street parking variance here too, yeah. Building area, side yard, and off-street. What's the side yard?
So there's a side yard on both sides. It's 7 feet on each side.
I'm
On-
saying it says it's a side yard variance.
Pre-existing.
Pre-existing.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is pre-existing except the building area.
Correct.
Yeah, everything but the building.
So, you know, I don't know if he brought the house back in 2 feet, got under the 35%. I don't know if that you would be able to do that by right. You'd have to check with the building department on that.
I couldn't say. I just have to assume that there must have been good reason for my architect to leave it at this size instead of squeezing it down.
Maximize the ask, that's what they do.
Sure. But maybe it would have made,
And we're here to sort of create a little bit of a moderation when it comes to a very dense neighborhood.
understood.
People complain all the time about density of parking up there.
Understood.
So I would like you to ask the building department my question and ask your architect if he could get it down to that percentage, and then I wouldn't have to think about adding 5 bedrooms in an area that doesn't have enough parking as it is.
Well, I
'Cause
could
then you
do
wouldn't
that
have to
first.
be, then you might not have to be here.
Right, in part, or piggybacking off of that, at 35%, would you still have 5 additional bedrooms?
I don't know. I would have to, revisit the
Based on what
design.
I'm seeing, he could do it. It would make it, just make the, addition slightly smaller. I think he could still do it. That's if you want to consider that.
Yeah.
And that could be an additional large one-bedroom versus two. You still have a nice big bedroom back.
Yeah, which wouldn't really work entirely, at least for my unit, with, yeah.
Mr. Wolf, what do you traditionally rent these apartments out to? So you live there, and you have annual leases for these apartments?
Correct.
No short-term like B&B leases or anything
Nope.
like that, right?
Nope.
The bedroom dimensions is 15.
Any other members of the
15
board
feet
have
by
any
10.
questions? Mike, do you want to ask for Mr. Wolf to speak to his architect and maybe give us a revised plan, or?
I really have the two questions. One, if the architect could get it down to the right percentage, then we wouldn't have that as a variance to consider. And if that's the case, does he still need a variance? I would want to find that out from the building department, in which case he wouldn't need to be here. Because, I do have reservations about it.
All right.
The parking
Mr. Wolf, you understand what Commissioner
extra bedrooms.
Leonetti is asking, right?
So they're full of teenagers. Teenagers get cars too.
Yeah, okay, sure. Eventually, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't even comprehend that yet.
Worry
But
about it when they start driving,
yeah, their age is 4, 2, and 6 months right now.
It's right around
You got
the
time.
corner.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
Yeah.
It's coming though.
Yeah, I bet.
Anyone else? Anyone from the audience for or against Mr. Wolf? All right, so then, if you could submit that as per, Commissioner Leonetti's request, we'll hold it off until next month.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Wolf.
All right, thank you.
All right,
And
have a
so
good
if-
evening.
if the building department says that, no, we don't need a variance, obviously, we just go right ahead. If they say, yes, we still need a variance for all the other pre-existing ones, we come back here and,
Well, no, I think if you change the plan and it still needs a variance, even after it's been reduced, we could just vote on the new submitted plan
okay,
that
I
you
see. So
voted.
you're
You
saying-
don't have to come back for another
If
hearing.
you can get it down to 35% of lot coverage instead of 37%, so you're only talking,
Yeah, because what he's saying, Mr. Wolf, is even if you are, let's say, needing a variance, right? That drawing or that plan that your architect would submit to us would be a reduction of what's being asked for tonight.
Sure.
So we would just vote on that.
okay.
All right?
Got
The
it.
building
And if it didn't need a
department-
variance, then you don't even have to do anything.
Right, of course.
You'll just get a building permit.
The building department would just need enough time to review it. That way they can inform the board whether or not a variance is needed. And the next zoning board meeting is June 23rd. So the
Okay.
quicker you can get it in, the quicker they would know before the next meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good night, Mr. Wolf.
Case number 3302, application of Tiki Inc., doing business as Lido Kosher Deli of 641 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.15B front yard for a proposed front awning at 641 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 229, Lot 21, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Gallinaro.
Good evening. Joe Gallinaro, 143 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, 11561. My client's interested in having a new awning put in at their 641 East Park Avenue address where they operate the Lido Kosher Deli. Awning that they're interested in putting in would have the front nose of the awning out at the front property line. There was a blue canvas awning originally that was maybe a foot back from the property line that over time had deteriorated. And with the new renovation and expansion project, they've opted for a more permanent awning where you see the front vertical standing seam copper, which is a historical material that was used within the deli. And the awning coming out would have a black stripe similar to match the storefront windows. The height of the awning aligns with the head of the windows at 9'2" above the ground. And The top of the awning itself would be at 14 foot 2 above the sidewalk.
Okay, so basically, just to have a visual of it, the awning is gonna go, basically come off the front of the entrance. Now, I know he's got the glass, he has one entrance on the left. Is there another entrance on the right also that goes into the restaurant part?
Yes.
Into the seating part?
Yes.
So now, the awning is basically gonna go across the whole front, am I correct?
Correct.
As I see in the photo. And just how far off the building is it gonna project?
Roughly 4'9", because the face of the building where the glass is, it has an existing sort of faceted move.
Right. Yeah, that's why, the way it's kind of faceted, I wasn't really sure if when you're looking at the dining side, the right side, if there was a doorway there, because I think you used to have to walk into the deli and then make a
Yes.
sharp right and just kind of walk after the counter into
Right.
the dining area. So that doorway that, now, permits you to go into the dining area, is that new or was that there before?
That was always there.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
main door, which they'd like everyone
Going
to
the
use,
deli. Yeah,
is on the left side.
Yeah.
But there are 2 doors.
Yeah, no, you did a
Yeah.
beautiful job, by the way.
Thank you.
You designed the new renovation?
Yes.
Yeah, you did a great
Yes.
job.
Thank you, yes.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Anybody for or against?
Samples?
Yeah, that's quid pro quo.
Come empty-handed.
I know.
Yes.
All right, so we will pay 100% for the food when we go there, regardless of our vote. I'll move to grant.
A second.
Case number 3302, application of Tiki Inc. doing
Nothing
business as
free.
Lido Kosher Deli of 641 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.15B front yard for a proposed front awning at 641 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 229, Lot 21, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced a motion to grant the application. Commissioner Leonetti has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton? Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Mr. Gallinari, we can hang a couple of provolones from it too, just to be all inclusive, Get a nice provolone on my roast beef.
That'll work.
Nice.
There's the mozzarella.
Right. Case number 3303, application of Edward Gray of 250 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-106.17 fence height limitations for a 6-foot-high fence in the front yard at 250 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 127, Lot 74, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Gray.
Good evening. Hopefully the best for last.
Okay.
So Edward Gray, Gray, for 250 Long Beach Boulevard, and I'm asking for a 4-foot fence to go to a 6-foot fence from the property this way, going this way, and then into the house, if you can see the pictures. And it has to do with a little bit of security for a 4-foot fence on Long Beach Boulevard, and all of the construction that's going to go on the super block, and just a little bit more of privacy because it is a side yard, and it doesn't impede anything traffic-wise. And if there's any questions, I guess it's a simple 4-foot to 6-foot fence.
So is any of that extension in the front of the house at the very,
No, it's totally the side of the house. In the front of the house, that considers the front of the house, meaning technically, I guess it's considered the front of the house because it's facing Long Beach Boulevard. But if you see in the pictures, it's mostly my side yard where we would enjoy, the summer on the side.
That's on the Beach Street side? That's Beach Street?
I'm sorry?
That side is Beach Street?
That is Long Beach Boulevard.
Right.
Yes.
And the side is?
And the side is on Long Beach Boulevard, and then the fence would go directly into the house.
Okay.
so you're a couple of houses away from Long Beach? No, what's the,
It would be Beach Street, right?
you're between what streets?
Beach and Penn?
East Olive.
Oh, okay.
East Olive. And I have a hearing impediment, so I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But my hearing aids are ordered. Supply chain problem.
And the 6-foot length is only about 24 feet? Is that on?
From 25 feet this way, and then, as you see, then
Then it's
directly.
between your property and the next property?
Yes.
So it's like, it's a side yard?
It's a side yard.
Effectively side yard?
Yes.
It's a corner lot, so that's why it's.
Right.
Right. Oh, okay.
It's a
Yes,
corner.
yes.
I see right here.
I'm just trying to reference where the house is, because, okay, so you have the house on Long Beach Boulevard, right? That has all of the decorations and the lighting and everything else, right?
Yes, that one
Where
house
are you in
across the street.
relation to that corner house?
I'm sorry, we're directly across that. So if you, we're not directly across her.
So
the
you're on
house-
the east side of Long Beach Road?
We are on, if Long Beach Boulevard, we are on the east side,
The
correct?
northeast side corner,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. There's like a red Volkswagen van in that driveway sometimes, a Rutan van? Is that the house? Because I get
You know
stuck
what
at
the
that light
beautiful
for
house
3
is
minutes
across
all the
from me
time.
is the one with the lady with the beautiful,
Right, you're right across from all the topiary stuff, right?
Landscaping.
The
front.
landscaping,
That is beautiful.
yes, is beautiful there, and we'll try to match that if you give us some time.
You're gonna need a lot of money to match
Because
that,
you can
boy.
see, I'm investing a ton of money in this.
All right, so you're the corner house facing the house with all the topiaries and everything else?
Correct, so
Right.
if you go directly across, then we go one house over.
Okay. One house north towards?
North, one house
Okay.
north,
Towards Olive?
yes.
Gotcha, all right. Yeah, it was just confusing, because I thought you were on, they said a corner house, I thought you were on that corner of Beach, and...
Olive and Long Beach.
Right, Olive and Long
But
Beach,
the
okay.
fence is
I
away-
got it now,
the fence is away from
I know
Olive
where it is
Street.
now.
Is the fence on the corner side or the inside?
The inside.
Inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's on the corner itself of East Olive and Long Beach? What's there now? Is there any kind of fencing there now?
My neighbor has a fence right up to it. Then you can see we put a brand-new planter right in there, which we're putting shrubberies in.
Mr. Acevedo is asking about the other end of your property.
So he wants to go
He's
up on this
asking
side.
about the end of your property right on Olive and Long Beach Road.
Oh, Olive and Long Beach Road is not, it's just my two-car garage, and that's the property where there's, if traffic comes, they have full view to, there's no impediments or anything, because there's no fencing there, it's all low property.
So this fence on this picture belongs to whom?
That is my neighbor, who butts right up against me,
Got it.
who is directly across the street from the house we speak of, which has the nice landscaping, and that's my next-door neighbor. That's my next-door neighbor. And I'm going to match that fence exactly to go straight across, and then in, it's not going to be any higher or lower.
Okay.
Did they come to us for this? They came to us for this variance? No, I'm saying
Yeah.
this
You guys understand, you guys?
I make a motion to grant.
Yeah, all right.
What about
Nobody,
the
since
public?
there's
What
nobody in
about
the
any-
audience, I'll make, an announcement for the record. There was nobody for or against, nobody in the audience. Commissioner Leonetti, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion to grant.
I'll second.
Case number 3303, application of Edward Gray of 250 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, for a variance on the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-106.17, fence height limitations for a 6-foot-high fence in the front yard at 250 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 127, Lot 74, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton? Commissioner Acevedo?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti? Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted. We have one extension.
Thanks so much. Go Rangers.
We just have one extension.
Wait a minute, can I change my vote?
Good night.
Right. Case number 3134, application of PSG Construction Company Incorporated, care of Paul Grossman of 54 Regent Drive, Lido Beach, New York, and LG Long Beach Realty LLC of 180 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a 6-month extension to the variance granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals for construction of a new 2-story commercial building at 180 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 110, lots 32 through 35 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Who will introduce a motion on this application?
I will.
Commissioner Brooks has introduced a motion to grant the application. Who will second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Leonetti has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Acevedo? Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application for an extension has been granted.
Now, that was 31, what, Robert?
Case number 3134, and that's 180 East Park Avenue,
Okay.
6-month extension.
Which
Yes.
property is that?
180 East Park Avenue.
Where the cleaners, where the cleaners was? Oh, okay. I was wondering what's going on with that.
These photos show, it's part of the record that Robert,
Yeah, when I came-
that was on the house with the woman